Hello and welcome to ECHOESTALK. Can I get a sound check, please, ladies and gentlemen?
Sound check.
Sound check, sound check. They're probably just like a couple of seconds behind and now they can't hear it. No one can hear anything. Dun, dun, dun. I hear an E, you're good. Can you hear Skippy and Sam?
Happy birthday, Nina.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. I'm not going to sing the whole song because that'll probably kill someone. But happy birthday, Nina. Happy 65th birthday. I can't hear Sam. Sam hasn't spoken yet, that's why.
Hello, good morning.
Nina probably hates me right now. Hey, Quizaz, how's it going? What's up, Carsaro? Welcome, welcome. 420, welcome. Hello, Kelbeck in the chat over here. Today we have Sambrig, as usual, with our normal two-man team, Mr. Sovereign RPG and Mr. Sambridge. We have Skippy today, the one-man army who sits around in PvP at gates, camping you with his own logistic ships, plus overpowered Mordu's Legion ships, as he did in the beta.
Stop scaring the fish, man. Come on.
Oh, sorry. He doesn't do anything. He gate camps in ventures, so if you see him in local, don't worry about it, just blow him up. See, I knew going to the stream today would cause this, so I was totally prepared. You were prepared mentally for your happy birthday. I just sang you happy birthday live on stream in front of like 4 people. You should be happy.
Which is now set in stone.
Which is now set in stone. Someone's probably already recorded that thing and stuck it somewhere. So we also have...
Forever.
Yeah. It's on the internet forever now. So we also have Neptune, who's actually currently had to run away for a slight emergency. But today we're going to be talking about ratting and the login rewards and how the login rewards are actually going to affect everyone while they're ratting. People might think that login rewards aren't that big of a deal, and they might not be. We might be thinking that they're such a big deal from on paper perspective because of our own experiences on how we've actually seen and played the game and how much it would actually change just to get certain things in his login rewards. And it has nothing to do with the Yangjung ships. The Yangjung ships aren't even an issue for me really yet. They can be, but they're not right now. Discord has ads. No, but Twitch has. God damn it, there's ads while watching a live. What? Is there ads? There shouldn't be ads. I have all ads turned off of Twitch. It's very weird.
I got an ad.
Yeah?
When I logged in.
There shouldn't be any ads. Hey Fish, what's up? That's very weird. The ads should be turned off unless they've changed something. More login reward talk again. No, we're not going to be talking about the login rewards. We're going to be talking about ratting, and it's going to be encompassing the login rewards. So it's not going to be like, oh, let's complain about Yangjung ship. Let's complain about the SP putting in there, blah, blah, blah. We're not going to be doing that. Twitch making dollars from you for themselves, of course. It's Twitch. Just, we always get abused. My beard is in the most disgraceful shape from the mask that I have to wear 24/7. Sorry about caps.
Yeah,
no worries. So basically, let's go over and start talking about ratting and how it was before they added in the login rewards with the choice of whichever cruiser you'd like to have. So when it came to ratting before, there was a difference between who you could be that would make it optimal. So the faction that you would pick at the beginning for your, not really the faction, but what faction ship you'd pick and what weapon you'd pick. Having missiles and the Corax being the main point of going to if you wanted to optimally rat from the beginning. Now you're getting given a cruiser. It doesn't matter anymore. Literally, you can jump into the game, and after day 4, you'll be earning between 300k a tick and 1.5 million ISK a tick just from that cruiser trainer. For new people, what is ratting? Ratting is, so like rat is just short for pirate, and pirate is short for pirate NPCs. It's not pirates as in players, it's just rats, well, what you kill, the NPCs. What's the faction in the Galente side? What do you mean, Beshi? I'm not quite sure what that question means. Oh, the faction, Serpentis, yes. Serpentis, and there's another one. There is another one, right?
Is there?
I thought there was a crossover. Why am I losing my mind? No, I'm probably losing my mind. So rats are basically everything that are NPCs that you kill apart from Concord, which you can't technically kill in Eve Echoes at all. I don't think you can kill them online. They changed that, right? I think they changed that one.
It's a bannable offense if you do stupid shit with Concord.
Yes, the latest AMA dev said weapon skill will be loot box to pick from one on the floor. Yeah, they haven't 100% confirmed that yet. They said they would look at it. Well, Nero said he'd look at it. But they will, I guess, do it. But I'm still on the fence because it shouldn't be one of the 4 skills. There should be other skills that you can pick from there. For instance, you should be able to pick the industry skills, and you should be able to pick some sort of mining skills or reprocessing skills, something on the basic level up to 4. So no more Caracal plus missiles. You should be able to pick what you want. Yes. Well, Caracal plus missiles will still be optimal. But you can pretty much do anything up to level 5, maybe level 6 smalls in any of the cruisers. So once you get enough tank in there and you start getting some good modules and you start finding some scouts and inquisitor sites and start getting the faction loot on your ships, it should be easy mode. Mordu's is half Galente, half Caldari. I don't know. I can't remember if Mordu's Legion is half Galente. I can't remember.
Yeah, that is correct.
That is correct, Mordu's Legion. But they don't have any buffs. Do they have buffs to drones in Echoes?
No, every pirate faction is a mix of 2 standard factions. So like your Mimitar is your Angel Cartel is Mimitar and Galente, I believe. Yeah.
Okay. Mimitar Galente. Yeah, it is point and missile bonus. Yes, there's point and missile bonus, but it's like normally when you have the mixture of the ships, like you look at a Serpentis, for example, you have a mixture of drones or sentries, drones, all the kinds of drones, and missiles. You get bonuses for both weapon types. Except Blood Raiders is also one that doesn't have it just has lasers and newts, which is
and armor, I believe, for Blood Raiders.
Yeah. So it's just the opposite of the way the Mordu's Legion's one done, I guess.
Yeah.
Because they don't have any bonuses to cannons or oh god, is it cannon? It is cannons, right?
Yeah.
And strike cannons and the other, I keep remembering what it's called. During the last AMA, the dev comments about industry MFG minor characters related to login rewards is absolutely horrible. Zoltan, like, when he turned around and said, well, the stats said there weren't many industry pilots and miners, so fuck it. I was like,
very weird.
I didn't understand.
To me, I don't care about that. You see, I'm absolutely fine with it. You know why?
Monies.
Cha-ching.
Monies. Hey Rev, how's it going, man? Welcome to the stream. Well, the bonus from Blood Raiders comes from the Mimitar web specialization. It does, but oy. Hey Sov, have you ever tried to turn a shield tank to an armor tank? Yes, that's possible in EVE Online for many ships. You can swap the tank completely, or you can just not have a tank at all and just go speed, or you can get rid of the speed and go whole tank and just be weird. But EVE Echoes is not quite the same. You can. The Yangjung ships you can turn from shield into armor because they have such good resist profiles on all levels that you can actually... I had... there was a guy who I was running with who actually had a better tank than me, armor, than I had shield, which was okay. Because he's not so massive. I was massively weak to Amar ships. Fighting in a battlecruiser Yangjung who, in Amar space where everyone had harbingers, they were doing a lot more damage to me than they were doing to him when he was armor tanked. So, like, yeah, it's just better.
Yangjun, you want to be shield tanks if you're fighting Yangjun because...
Yes, because they hit armor hard.
Yeah.
So, like, when it comes to the actual the ratting experience, given that cruiser at the beginning, and with those with the way everyone was talking about having the skills in a loot box, where you have all of the skills in a loot box, so you can pick which weapon you want. For me, that wasn't a big deal. That was fluff issues. That was not an issue. That was a non-issue because it takes what 13 hours, 45 minutes to get the same skills. So you should have those skills in preparation for you getting the day 4 or more in preparation of getting the day 4 cruiser. Like you shouldn't be if you're ratting.
I think it was more specifically that missiles came first, then drones, then the other. So like, and because every single one was a day apart, the early skilling of all of the players was going to be skewed towards what they were given for free.
Yes.
I wonder though, when the game is actually released, will there be a full view of what your daily reward schedule is going to be? Because it is kind of like I'm not going to say a strategic choice, but it's just like there are changes that you can make for yourself based on your choice.
It's true. Thank you, Hugasa, for the 2 months. Tier 1, thank you for the Prime Itsula, and thank you for the Prime Dega. Thank you for the follow. Bravolized. Bravolized? Sorry about it.
The thing I am really kind of annoyed about with this game and with NetEase is they are unwilling to leave the game in an early game state. They are trying to accelerate everyone into the mid or early mid game as soon as possible, really.
That's
the but that's the thing. Are they forcing us to speed up through the early game because there is no early game because it was so broken from the difficulty bump? Not many of you got to try the actual gameplay from a 0 perspective. I did, Nina did, all the localization testers got to try the game from 0 at normal SP rates from alpha to getting your Omega later on, and it was fucking impossible. It wasn't just, it wasn't impossible. It would just take you a long time because the difficulty bump between 3 and 4.
Now, take that same perspective and think you automatically have a mega combo because you were able to buy it and because it was expected that you would buy it. Now,
right at the beginning, yeah. Oh, so, sorry, can you ask that again?
So, imagine the same situation that you had before, but you no longer have to get Omega because you've already got it. Now, what do you think?
Yes, but the difference between what we got with the latest final test and what we got in the localization test was the 1.5 million SP a day, which gives you a massive jump start on all things Destroyer. So you could actually skill shitloads into Destroyer and it won't actually matter on the progression side of things, on the speed of you getting from point A to point B, which you need to do. If you in the open game, if we don't get those daily SP amounts, like we're getting the login rewards and there will be SP, and they have confirmed there will be login rewards every 30 days, and every 30 days there'll be less login rewards than you got in the first launch login rewards, but there will still be 10k SP a day, which it's not a big deal.
It's 10%.
It's like, how
like
much is
your Omega combo is looking at 108,000 SP per day. So that's still a good 10%.
Yes. And it will get you some good speed ups, but it won't get you the same amount as what we got in the final test. Like
but everything we look at what's going to be like a year down the road. No, I was asking specifically though because you had, as you described, a from 0 slow progression experience.
Ooh,
and yes,
horrible.
you described that it was a hellscape to get from alpha to Omega. But imagine if you were doing that from Omega at the beginning. I think it's actually not going to be that bad, because what is the real issue if you are limited to frigates or destroyers for a week? More than that. I feel like cruisers and destroyers, frigates and destroyers, there's nothing wrong with them. They're a good experience. But if cruisers are so close around the corner, and when you're ratting, cruisers are a cut above from frigates and destroyers, you cannot question that. Then we just go straight to cruisers and we bank until we get there. We don't even look at destroyers unless we are forced to approach destroyers from a we need to get moving now and can't afford to wait standpoint.
Yeah, so like destroyers, frigates and destroyers, in my opinion, from many, many moons of experience, are PvP ships, especially destroyers. Destroyers are PvP ships. They're used in PvP. They're a cheap alternative. When you get enough of them, you can really do some damage. Like PanFam, for years, used hundreds of cormorants, just cormorants, and they were wiping out entire fleets of people in cruisers, battleships. They even used to jump people in capitals with their hundreds of destroyers. So like, it's a possible thing. They're not really PvE boats. We could use them to great effect in PvE during the test because we had expert level 4 in everything. So it's like, you can. It will be a thing that you can do once you have a lot of skills, but it's going to take some time this time. And I think that a lot of the newer players are going to get a slap in the ball bag when they realize how difficult it's going to be. And they're going to be given this nice shiny cruiser. Yeah, go on. Sorry, Skippy, go on.
Yeah, it's just a wait for the skill points to get to that level.
Yeah, Fish, that's a good point. So Fish has got Talking in Stations tomorrow, which I will also be on, and they're going to have some economy specialists from EVE Online on there to talk about the specifics of how the free modules and free ships could actually affect the economy. Now, me personally, I can guess. I can do a lot of guesswork on how much it's going to affect the economy, and someone else who has an opinion might be. I don't know if anyone on live right now has a different opinion on the economy being fucked from the beginning, from the free stuff that we're getting. You think that's the case?
I have a bit of a question. Does anyone here know how many times the devs have given out rounds of geckos in EVE Online?
Geckos or Gnosis?
No, geckos. The drone, specifically overpowered drone, which gets killed, bought, sold, banked, all kinds of things in the economy all the time. I wonder, because I remember getting like 1 or 2 sets. At first I think I got like maybe 5 drones, and then later on I got 1, and that was to every single person in the game. Those drones are extremely prevalent, highly prized, and expensive, but they still exist everywhere in EVE Online forever. Now, trainer ships obviously are, they're the low-level cruiser and such. But I think that if you go to giving everyone 1, and if you repeat it as well, especially, then it will be. They'll be there forever, and you will never stop having armies and armies of, Tech 5 or whatever they are, trainer cruisers.
I muted myself. Yeah. I have no memory of being given a gecko.
They've put geckos in.
Was it the yearly one? The end of the year events?
So we got them when they were released first, which I believe was 5
okay.
each
Yeah,
player.
I
then,
remember.
And then we got 1 for Christmas, I think, but I don't know if they've repeated it. And like, they are so widely used, so prevalent, and so widely destroyed. You'd think, oh wow, why is it that we don't lose saturation of these things? And the trainer is going to be even worse.
It's the same, but you could say the same about the excavator drones for the Rorqual as well. Yep. They were, when they first came out, they were given out by the billions. Everyone had them, everyone was losing them, and blah blah blah. And then they made them shit, and then market.
Also, with the trainer cruisers, they said 80% effectiveness. Compared to what? I think compared to the actual ship, like a trainer omen to an omen, which to me says, well, if it's 80%, that means that 2 trainers are still going to kill an omen. Like,
because
trainers, they'll still kill someone.
So the difference between most trainers and their older brother counterparts is just the weapon slot, an extra weapon slot. Mostly, there are some differences.
Some EHP.
But like there's some EHP and blah blah blah. But mainly the 20%, the devs are looking at this always from the DPS perspective. when they're telling you that it is 80% the power of blah, 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 it's 80% of the DPS. They're not counting in the EHP. They're not counting in the speed of the ship. They're not counting in any of this stuff. And then they've got like things like when they said the prototype of the Yangjing prototype is 55% of the power of a standard. How powerful is the standard going to be? For fuck's sake, we tested the ship.
Well, yeah, I feel as though the standard is going to be what we tested, but also the power, as you say, is not just measured in DPS. The Youngtron battlecruiser having +2 to warp stab and all of the other bonuses we've always talked about. So it's going to be impossible to escape the power of the free ships over the built ones until you start building battle cruisers, until you start building whole fleets of omens. But the thing is, you compare how much it takes for you to build an omen versus how much it takes for you to build a trainer. Like, well, sorry, you can't build a trainer, you get them for free. But like,
you can buy the trainers.
Yeah, okay, if you want to spend 10 mil.
Yeah.
It's not worth your time to sit down and say, right, we need to we need to mine all day, we need to do this, we need to do that, we need to do all these things. So cool, we have now 10 real cruisers, and then 10 trainer cruisers turn up, and you're still in a DPS fight where you're picking each other off, and you're really no better off for being it. You need to start getting like one tier above and maybe even a ship class above before you really start being able to wipe out these armies of trainer ships, which, by the way, can be brought back with insurance.
Like,
yeah,
fucking
that's
hell.
so
Like,
bad.
So, you get given 24 insurance vouchers just for the login bonuses. It takes 4 insurance vouchers to fix the trainers.
Yep.
It takes what?
Ships.
What? How much was it? 8. It was 8 for the destroyer.
8 and 16, I think. Yeah, 8 and 16, I think.
8 and 16.
Yeah,
So
it was
you can
16.
yeah, you can fix the your trainer twice before you run out of enough vouchers to fix the battle cruiser. But that's not including all of the insurance vouchers you get in the advanced tutorial, which a lot of people don't count.
I was gonna say that's also assuming you don't get any more insurance things on any other format as well. Yeah, because you're probably going to be able to buy them. You're probably going to be able to get them through advanced tutorials. Probably going to be able to get them through any farmable way. Who knows? Do we know if you can or can't transfer them from one player to another?
They are currently tradable, which put a question in.
Infinite number. You can throw them all in your core thing, it'll be thousands of them.
But I think it's going to not be tradable. I think it's going to be not be tradable. I think at the moment it was tradable, but I don't think it will be tradable because I brought up the exploit of the 2 exploits. Now there's one paid exploit where you can. It's not really that bad, to be honest. It's shit, but it's not that bad. So in the future, you could be given a shitload of vouchers. You could be given vouchers on the first month, which we have in the login bonuses, 24. They could be giving vouchers every month. So you can keep repairing the battlecruiser. Now, the only issue is that when you lose the battlecruiser, you lose the modules. But if you start a new account and put $5 Omega on that account and get that 30-day bonus again and stockpile the modules, the faction storyline modules that no one knows how to get, you can stockpile those modules. You can sell those modules for a shitload of money. People will. It's going to be the same as buying Plex, but from the beginning, you're going to be making more money because Plex is going to take a while going up and down, up and down, up and down. You will make a lot more money selling storyline faction items for these Yangjing ships.
But I think the market is going to be so flooded that
yeah.
This is the trouble. Is that you're looking at the small decomposers, and you're thinking, okay, so the entire server is going to be flooded with more of these modules than anyone can get for anything relatively close in a near infinite number at a certain point in time. That is going to mean the price is going to be 0. They will be free practically. No one will accept paying for them because everyone will have them. And even far down the line, there's going to be a constant influx of these.
Here's a question for you though. will the login rewards be linked to the account, as in day one is the day you create your character, or will it be server linked?
Interesting question. I think it would be better if it was server linked, because that
Oh,
means
yeah.
that, well, actually, I don't know. I mean, if it's server linked, that means that you have periodic things of ups and downs, and everyone has the same at the same time. If it was account linked, you just got a constant stream of whenever anyone turns up to that point in time in their own progression. Which means you're either going to never get rid of it, or you're going to have periods of extreme exposure to certain things.
So there's a hi May, thank you for the Twitch Prime, thank you for the 2 months, thank you. Just to talk about the question, Swede makes a good point that you can use those weapons and those low tier modules on any ship.
Yep, better than
with
anything.
skills, better than most ships have skills with the. You can just fit it on anything. If you just go for the medium, you can fit it on any cruiser, any battle cruiser, and you'll do a shit ton of damage. People think that it's wasted because it's only a one-time ship. It's not a one-time ship. It's a weapon. The weapon is the important part, not the ship. People have to remember that.
Which means that people have to come to a decision, what are they going to skill into in terms of a weapon type when they are starting their PvE characters and their ratting. It may not be the best for PvP because you have range limitations, but PvE, you can throw this weapon on a real tanky-ass ship and then just go and brawl. Because they have excellent tracking, they're relatively short range if you haven't got massive skills with them, and also the rigs help a lot with the range. But yeah, this whole system is going to make ratting a one-trick pony. You're going to want to be skilled into one thing, and if you're skilled into anything else, you're at a disadvantage. Because EVE is always about the optimal gameplay, and that's where the balance of EVE Online comes in, because they have balanced it to the point where if you choose any of the 4 factions, you are at a relatively equal chance. You have advantages, but you have just as many disadvantages that equal it out.
On all 4 of them.
And they have introduced some of those aspects, but not all of them. Like, ammo is a massive thing in EVE Online that gives you an advantage or disadvantage. Sometimes you do have to deal with ammo, sometimes you don't. And that gives you the option to tweak balance very easily. In this case, though, I think we are not going to look at ammo anytime soon because of a lack of economy, which I think... You see, this is the thing. If they wanted to do something to give out a lot of stuff, put ammo in the game and give everyone a free ammo. That would be something that wouldn't break anything and would all have a lot of fun with.
Here's the problem with all of the they've said ammo is not coming anytime soon. It is a system that is proving difficult because they are not putting in the ammo the way that it is in EVE Online. So you're not going to be filling your hold full of thousands of pieces of ammo. It's just going to be a script, and they're having a bit of trouble with it, I guess. Yep.
They don't want to have new players deal with ammo and the lack of it when they need it.
I just need ammo. Minmatar pilots need ammo because their guns are fucking shocking without it. Like, they are so far behind on the one type of ammo, the 425s that they're using. I'm having a brain fart and I can't think of the exact weapon that is. Yeah, because they're using the 425 as the turrets, and they're using a certain ammo type.
You mean like the autocannon versus the artillery?
Yeah, the artillery. So the artillery is the 425s. I'm pretty sure it's the artillery that are 425s, which make the tracking shite. Because they copy pasted. They copy pasted. They're the worst of all the long range weapons with the tracking. Like really bad.
In terms of the large guns, in the 425 autocannons versus the 1400 howitzers.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm okay with the idea of no ammo, so long as they back up that decision with every other aspect of the game. There's a lot of stuff to be changed. So, ratting, they haven't yet implemented or decided that it is a high priority to implement shared bounties. At present, it is still winner takes all.
Yes, and the way that it's going right now, this is where the ratting comes into play, because the ratting, how quickly we'll start making serious money, will have a cascading effect on the market itself, because people are going to be able to afford to buy everything, which is going to raise the prices. Or people are going to explode early and quit the game because they can't survive in their big cruiser, because they're not given modules for this cruiser. You're just given a cruiser, guys. Like, you don't get
They will
the
fit
medium
small
weapons
modules for sure.
Hang on. Do you get civilian modules with
on
your
the
trainer?
but I'm talking like you might get a civilian weapons, you might get a civilian one piece of a tank item, and maybe a prop, I guess, prop mod. But they even said during the AMA that the civilian stuff, not even the devs want to use because it's not completed yet. They actually said that in the AMA. That's the reason why they gave the Yangjing ships as storyline items, also because of the fact that if you have a mark, you have to have a tier. If you have to have a tier, people can't use it in the first 30 days, for example, which is whatever. When I bought a trainer in localization, I had it unfitted. Yeah, so when the trainer was bought, it was unfitted. I remembered that there was no civilian stuff on the trainer battle cruiser. Not the second tier cruiser, the 90 million ISK one. There was no civilian fittings on those on the Mala when I was testing out the Mala. There was no fittings on there. I didn't know about the first lock, so I didn't bother. You gave me a Omen built, and then we got a Harbinger, so it went on from there. So like so when
5 T6 trainer ships sold by the NPCs. Interesting. T6.
T4. The second set of tiers of the cruisers are tier 6. So it's the Mala, the Thorax, and the fucking
something Mimitar.
Stabber?
No, the Stabber's the first tier. Stabber's the first tier. Wasn't the Stabber the first tier? The tier 5 cruisers.
Someone will correct us.
Someone will say in the chat anyway. But if you, the triangle. Rupture, that's the one, the triangle. As soon as it said triangle, I was like, Rupture. Yeah, it was the God, what's it called? What's that chocolate you get in airports? The triangles.
Toblerone?
Toblerone, yeah, the piece of Toblerone, that's what they are. See, I can't even think of the Toblerone pieces.
And when will the next rebalancing of the ships and weapons be released? He said the next big extension version will. So basically,
the SOV. 3 months. 3 months. They said the next update will be. Yeah. The hell is a Toblerone? A Toblerone is just a long piece of triangle chocolate you get in airports mostly. A lot. As soon as I said chocolate in airports, everyone was like Toblerone.
Yeah, Swiss chocolate.
So, like, when you're talking about, let's get back to the ratting aspect of things. You get into the game. You have the first 4 days. You have 2 choices. You skill into destroyers to get the maximum efficiency of destroyers. Level 3, level 4, smalls. In the destroyers at the early game, you'll be making roughly 60, 70k a tick to 250-ish k for level 3s.
Are we talking high sec only, or are we talking they go into low sec as well?
Well, because the bounties will be the same in high sec up to level 3, right? Because that's the max they'll have. Level 4, sorry, level 4.
Level 4, yeah.
So it'll be the same bounties from the high sec and low sec level 4s. So you got that, or you have the option to skill into as much cruiser as possible, piss about for the first 4 days until you open up that login reward and become a ratting god from the get-go.
No, but you have to get your medium modules from somewhere.
Yeah, you can get like the modules like if they're unfitted. Only if they're unfitted.
Well, I remember, and Skippy can back me up on this, when we started the beta, we went out and bought a trainer cruiser. It was not fitted. We had to go and get in our destroyers and shoot some level 5 rats to get those medium guns.
Yes. We had to do some level 6s actually in low with destroyers.
Was it? Did we go 6s or 5s? It was one or the other. But yeah, so we were
5s have your first cruisers.
What we were doing was we had a pack of destroyers and we centered the damage around. We made the cruiser be the tank. because the cruisers could take a lot more punishment until the destroyers had killed everything.
Yeah.
But the difference
after that.
The difference being that you could actually buy Mark III medium modules off of the market. They're seeded.
Well, we didn't have
What?
them.
I haven't seen
Mark
any.
III modules were all seeded during the test, all of them, except for drones.
Really?
Are the only ones, only the Mark IIIs. So the Mark Vs and Mark VIIs and Mark IXs you had to get yourself, but Mark IIIs were all there.
Interesting.
Medium, though? I don't know. I feel like if we had known that, we would have grabbed them.
Dude, advanced encounters doable. I might be talking out of my ass. I might be talking about smaller modules. I might not be remembering correctly.
Anyway, either way, I would hope that there is going to be a type of progression, but I think that you are definitely well on your way to doing all of the PvP and PvE aspects of the cruiser on day 4 when you get that cruiser. But we also they might be shifting the dates around, so that should be good.
Yeah, but that didn't. Sorry,
it's going to affect industrialists more than anything else. Industrialists are the ones that they go for building everything in order to fit all the other friends out with ships and themselves as well. And if they're going to get shafted by having everyone get free ships, they'll get no orders.
But that's the thing, because I know for myself, I don't know how many, like for myself and Nina, for example, we're gonna want that extra 20%. So we will be going for the normal Omen anyway, even with the free trainer. So we will be looking for ships to be built, because that 20% is 20% faster killing anomalies, 20% more ISK. Everything for me is a min-max thing. I don't know if everyone's going to be like that, or if everyone's just going to stay in the trainer for the foreseeable future, but eventually they're going to want to start making orders to get the better ships. So everyone's going to know the trainers are shit, and that they're only going to have so many insurance vouchers before they run out or get their ships blown up. And then you have the people that are going to be in low sec and null sec that are going to get blown up in PvP eventually. So people will start making orders. I feel like at the start you might get a little bit fucked, maybe a week behind on the industrial side of things. But I think after a week, 2 weeks, maybe 3, I think you'll start getting a lot of orders. Can we just answer a few of these questions in the chat? So we do have Jika Forza, which has dude, advanced encounters, doable and destroyers. You get medium weapons. That is 100% true. You can do the second tier at what? Tier 4 they are? Tier 4 is the first set of advanced. And you can do them, and they do have cruisers, and they are quite easily doable in destroyers. Apparently, Nero mentioned it would be feasible to free-to-play Plex into Omega under 30 days. What do you think about this? Highly doubt that, but correct me if I'm wrong. He specifically said it is doable, but doable and playing for 13, 14 hours a day, every day for 30 days to get that Plex. Or is it...
It's going to be highly dependable on
how long you're playing, how often you're playing, how optimal you're playing.
How many people are actually buying Plex for money, and at what price they're going to be putting it on the market.
See, his statement, when he said that,
it's so depressing.
When he said that, he was completely wrong, and he shouldn't have said that. When I saw him say that, I almost wanted to moderate him, and I don't even mod anymore. He basically started when he turned around and said you can get a free to play can get Plex Omega in 30 days. People insinuated that they thought that you are not going to be able to Plex in the first 30 days. It's not going to be possible for any of you. You won't be able to get from Alpha to Omega in the first 30 days. Unless someone buys 400 billion ISK Plex and puts it on the market for 1,000 ISK each, you won't get it. It will start at 2.5 million a Plex. It will.
Then again, yeah, it takes 170 Plex to get the basic Omega, so it's not going to take 30 days to get into Omega.
Yeah, at present, Fish, you can trade vouchers. We are likely to see that change. The trouble with Omegas is there are multiple ways of making ISK in the game for Omegas, but Alphas have a very limited avenue for making ISK at all. It's ratting or bust, really.
You can now do the mining. You can do now because you can get that free venture. in the advanced tutorial. So you can make, because they haven't said you can't send alphas ISK from the corp wallet. So alphas can do an ore buyback program, I guess, from corps if they're part of them, which could then you pay them for their ore. That could be something they can do, but I doubt they'll make more money than ratting. You are correct.
Can alphas PR in any way?
Yes, they can. 2 planets.
Yes.
2 planets, 4 arrays, I think it is, or 5? 4 or 5 arrays. I can't remember.
Yeah. It would be better to, like, a better investment on someone's time. If you had someone who was 100% dedicated to the game, it would be a better investment on your time to corp clone them and have them fly for you in every aspect that they are interested in. You'll get double or triple the effectiveness out of the pilot, but yeah, that first month is the skill training alone of how many skill points you're getting. That's going to be huge in terms of what Omega and Alpha pilots are going to be like. At the end of the month, Alpha pilots are going to be left in the dust in terms of where they're going to be at in tech level. All of the people are going to be flying around in all of these tech level ships. Alpha pilots are going to be sitting around in Tech 5, maybe Tech 6, whereas Omega is going to be Tech 7 going on Tech 8 sort of thing.
Alphas can kind of catch up now that you can get the Expert Cognitive 3. They're only 10 SP behind an Omega combo.
It's really not a huge bonus for the cost.
I mean, but it's a one-time cost. We'll be spending 15 a month.
I'm sorry. I struggle with the concept that someone isn't going to spend $5, but they'll spend 38 on Cog 3 and get the tiniest benefit out of it.
Trust me, a lot of people just hate the idea of a subscription model. So when they get the one-time payment, I would love to see the stats on what people buy in the game at the beginning.
If people like subscription, then they'll buy Plex one off. It's the same concept.
It's very true, Marco. Industry is a slow start, if it's a slow start. But I don't know how it's going to work. They're telling us by the statistics they have gathered and all this information they've gathered that there's no industry players and there's almost no miners. So there could be no fucking industry at all.
Oh, anyone who has an eye for profit will see that even if the priorities shift to the base of the players, those few industry guys left will just be rolling in it eventually. It just takes a little bit of forward thinking, and you'll be able to pick it up.
Needs teamwork. You need to have people specializing in specific parts of the industry chain, and
I kind of wonder that, because with the tax being so high, you actually may be advantaged to take a little bit of every aspect of industry and do the whole process from start to finish as a single toon. Yes, okay, you're going to, in the long run, if you've got 5 toons dedicated to 5 different parts of industry and you trade within each other, if you have a corporation, you can trade freely within the hangar to an extent. So yes, but early game, you might want to just chuck a little bit of skill points into everything that you choose to do, like the kind of ore that you're going to be getting in high sec for reprocessing, the destroyers or frigates or whatever you're going to be building. Just put a little bit into those skill points, and just plug your way through. Because don't forget, as a tech level, you're going to be able to do anything that you want to do. It's just a matter of how many skill points you put in as to how effective you're going to be.
Yes.
And it's really, really high return for a few skill points at the beginning of the game. It's going to be probably it's going to be a bit of a logistical nightmare to actually manage one toon doing all of the parts of industry, but it could be quite a good return if you don't have to interact on the market with these elevated prices. Because PR, whatever price you get that you feel like from the planet, as soon as the person sells it on the market, throw 20% on instantly. That's not including a skewed to hell market early game. Your standard settled price is going to be whatever people think it's worth plus 20%. Your next level is from PR is straight to ships, but everything that you do, the standard base price that people grab for these objects because of the market tax, add 20, add 40%. That's just what people have to do, because if you really take the costs into the account, you have to deal with this sort of stuff. You don't have a choice, because that's where they put the tax. Unless people operate under the assumption that they're going to do everything they can to avoid tax and undercut everyone who can't afford to avoid those taxes to lower prices. So, yeah. I think that there is an argument for being a solo indie pilot with all skills on the one pilot to a point, depending on how and what support industry and infrastructure you have, in your corporation or friends.
You do, and Marco's just said in here the contract taxes over the top and the taxes are over the top. They said in the last AMA that they will be dropping the taxes on pretty much everything, like lowering them because they were way too high.
Just give me numbers, not promises.
Yeah, they keep. Well, I don't know what else to. If I'm being honest, I feel a little bit betrayed by them giving ships only to paid people when they promised that they would not sell ships for money, which they technically did sell ships for money because it's Omega and it's the first month and free players are not going to be able to get that Omega in time to have those free ships. So really they did sell ships for money. 3 of them with fittings.
Yeah, but
Pay to win confirmed.
Oh, no, it's not pay to win. It's not pay to win. Don't get me wrong.
I know, I'm joking.
Don't get me wrong, but I'm saying that they technically are selling ships, man.
It's pay to play, but who cares? Oh my God, $5 and you're in the money for everything. It's really not. There are no one in their right mind or in any state of people who are any level committed to the game will remain alpha. Like there's just the benefits located with Omega are unreal comparatively. Anyone who plays alpha is so locked down to the point of ridiculousness with this game that there's no one would want to. I cannot imagine anyone saying after the first month, yep, I was an alpha pilot, I had a great time. I do not expect that at all. I think it's going to be crap for every alpha player. I think they're going to hate it. And I think that everyone, after 1 or 2 days of going into this game as an alpha, will be reaching for their wallet for that $5 pickup and just saying, why didn't I do this when I first logged in?
Yeah, it's true. Hugasa makes a good point. The community can be incorrect about things. Yes, they can. It just takes one person with a big enough voice to say something, and then 5,000 people follow him, and then 50,000 people then follow them. There's a lot of sheep and shepherd type things going on. It depends who gives their opinion. So, like when I say betrayed, I maybe have been speaking a bit aggressively. I don't feel betrayed, but I do feel like they led me on a little bit.
Yeah, it's definitely the wording that they've been using for the last year or so has been, I wouldn't say inappropriate so much as just inaccurate. There's
been quite a few inaccuracies, but I still have faith in the team. I'm still going to love the game. I'm still going to put a shitload of money into it. Like, I'm close to $600 day one, not even for everything. $600 day one. Jesus fuck me Christ.
But that's community leader stuff. That's just what you deal with. And don't forget, for people like you or me, for the amount of time that we put into a game like this is a hobby, right? We are middle-aged. Now, people who put money into hobbies in middle-aged put thousands of dollars into the things that they're really interested in doing. So it's not inconceivable to say, okay, yeah, it's just a hobby of mine. It's what I'm doing. I am putting an investment in, and I have gone through it and going in for the long run. When you look at it, okay, it's just a mobile game. Well, you think, yeah, okay, cool, it's a mobile game, but what are you doing? You're streaming every week. You have a community of multiple hundreds of people. You are talking and chatting about it every day. It's a full-on hobby that you're choosing to do.
Sorry, I wasn't laughing at you. I was fucking, oh my god. Hugasa, I just spent 150 quid on fucking Hot Wheels.
Oh my god.
People will put money into their
that's
hobbies.
Beautiful. No, but I have, my dad is a very, very avid collector of Hot Wheels cars, and he has some very fucking expensive packaged Hot Wheels cars that are worth a shitload of money now from a long time ago. So like I understand the collection stuff. I collected everything Final Fantasy from the beginning. I have a Final Fantasy 7 Platinum Edition, fully packaged, worth £4,000. It's a game. So collection stuff is not like it's not as bad as when I said Hot Wheels, it just made me think of my kids, but it was just funny. But the as a like, so people can use money. Yeah, Rev, I like 600 is how much we'll have to pay at the beginning because we have a lot of corps we have to set up right at the beginning. So
this is the thing. I want to preface the idea of us spending this kind of money. You know, I am planning to have 7 accounts. All of those accounts are going to be fully populated on all characters, and they're all going to be skilling. Some of them Omega 1, some of them Omega Combo, some of them are going to be Cog 2, some Cog 3. You know, there's going to be a complete variable on all of that. But, you know, it's just a case of how we choose to play the game. And because of how they've chosen to run corporations, starting out with multiple CEO accounts is required if you want to be ahead of the game, or at the very least on par with it when you need it. Based on how this game is played, you know, if you want to have a corporation with numbers when you need it, you don't want to have to start that 2 net 0 when you need to put, you know, skill points into that corp tune. You want to have him skilling from the start so that when he gets to where he needs to be, he's actually got 150 guys he can put into that corporation when you need it. I mean, yeah, okay, you can just start them up when you need it, but I'd much rather be prepared and have it when I need it, you know, preset.
Yeah, basically. Jika, basically, what if the player base dropping will not be able to sustain the studio economy? What if the game shuts down in 1 year? What happens to your $600? The same thing that happened to my $10,000 I put into Star Citizen, and the thousands and thousands of dollars that I put into every strategy mobile game, Game of Thrones Conquest, Evany, Age of War, fucking Jesus. I've put in stupid amounts of money into everything, man. Second Galaxy, I didn't put a penny. I didn't even play it. I played 5 minutes. Mistakes were made in Star Citizen, but this was 8 years ago when they were talking the big game, and I really had a lot of hope that was going to be the next thing for me. I was avid into EVE Online at that time. I was really into EVE Online at that time, like a lot. It was the peak of my EVE Online career. And then the Star Citizen idea came out, and there was multi-crewed ships and all this stuff, and they were talking all this, and I wanted to help to create that game. So I put money into that game to help create it. And now it's 8 years later, and I haven't seen fuck all. They still haven't created one of the ships I paid for.
I challenge anyone to go through their mobile game history. And
I did that once.
No.
And see what sort of effect you've got on, you know, percentage of your income plus also, you know, the total amount. And look at how much money you put in. Yeah, fucking cat. Look at how much money you put in to those games and how far they got you. Look at what the value for money was on all of these different games that you're playing. And how far is EVE going to take you? EVE Echoes for the same amount of money. How long will it last you? From a single account perspective, you know, $60 a year. That's reasonably good for a year. Considering
it's actually very good.
People often put that kind of money in on a single purchase that gave them 2 to 5 hours of gameplay on a very short term, because that's just what they did.
I'm still paying $15 a month for my WoW account that I haven't played in 2 years.
That's just bad accounting.
I'm still paying for my Star Wars The Old Republic account that I haven't played
That's
for
also
6
bad
months.
accounting.
Can I have some of your disposable income, please?
That's not disposable income, man. That's not disposable. That's just shit I haven't got rid of. Every month I'm like, for fuck, I start fucking. What are you doing? Just get rid of it.
Give me your PayPal details. Okay,
if I manage your credit card subscriptions, you don't need anymore. Can I have half of what you don't use?
Man, you know what? Oh God.
Anyway, we are talking Reddit today.
Right. So
will people go to nullsec for ratting, or will they be in high sec or low sec? Where will we be? Based on the new rewards, does this open up everyone to jump into nullsec?
well, yes. Nullsec. Now we know that there's NPC stations all over nullsec everywhere. It won't fucking matter anymore. Just go to nullsec. The only thing that was holding you back was the fact that you couldn't store anything anywhere when they didn't have stations in there. Now there's no point in being anywhere else but nullsec if you have a corp. If you have a corp big enough, there is no point. I'm just going to stay in low sec. I'm going to stay in 0.1 at the beginning. No scrams. Scrams, there's going to be disruptors, and disruptors are going to be everywhere now. They're going to be all over from all rats, so you won't have to worry about not getting disruptors. It's like Star Wars: The Old Republic, Jika, was one of my favorite MMOs. I've got a few, and I'm reading The Art of War before Echoes comes out. Love me a good book. I don't like... I am worried that we're going to hit endgame in a brand new EVE super quickly.
Yeah, we'll just need new content. So they said 3 months for Sov, right?
3 months for Sov, but then we get Sov. What comes after Sov?
Wars, my friend.
Yeah, the fight to keep it.
Yeah, but it's like...
Also, the rush to claim it. You know, what is it going to take to build up sovereignty? You know, okay, 3 months. Are we going to know what assets we're going to need to build up before we need it? And how much grinding are we going to need to do? Someone was telling me a while back that the Chinese base, how they take to gaming is grind all day, every day. That's just what they love doing. And whereas the Westerners are more about, some grinding, but also gameplay, like, work during the day for your ship, play with it during the night.
Yeah. There's speaking of the Chinese players, for a quick side swipe, it seems that they're going to be staying on the server. Like, from recent conversations I've caught wind of in the Discord, it seems like everything's changed and they're not going to be going to their own server.
Oh, that's going to be interesting.
I heard that there was a maximum login of 200,000 players.
Yeah, at one time.
So what happens to the 200,001th player?
So no, it's 200,000 players online at the same time. So if it's like that, that's the limit they're gonna have on the server for some fucking reason. I have no idea. But if like at launch, it's gonna be way more. So I understand that not paying for every MMO I've ever played or every MMO I've ever started with has always started with less servers than they need, because it's always launch is massive and then everyone dies down and it trickles down to an amount that is normal. They believe that 200,000 active players daily at one time is what it will trickle down to. So I understand saving money, because those servers cost fucking money, man.
But that's where they're going at launch, though. And that means that when you get on day one 1 million players, that's 1/5 of the player base is going to be able to log in. And you're going to have a queue to try and get in, and you're just going to be spamming. Pretty much, is that it? Sounds about right?
Yeah.
Which means that people are going to be reticent to log out and change characters because maybe this is where the character swap is going to come into play. But what happens if you drop for whatever reason? What happens if because dropping the game and having to reload the game is very, it's just a constant. You log in as soon as you can. But what if now you enter a queue to log in and you're going to be 5-10 minutes away from getting back into your ship? That's just nuts.
Yeah, there's that. Also, there's the problem that the people who have 40 accounts running at the same time are going to keep their accounts logged in at all times. They have to have an AFK logout timer. They have to. If you're AFK and you're sitting in a station and it's just sitting there and it's not having anything happen to it, it should be logged out. Otherwise, you're going to have this 200... it's going to be taken up in seconds of people AFK because they're too scared to close their accounts. Especially on computer, especially if you're doing PC. People who have 40 accounts baffle your mind. In EVE Online, I know a person who has 1,200 accounts and he uses most of them. You know him as well, actually, Fish. You know who I'm talking about as well. Master Race here.
Yeah,
He comes on talking in stations quite a lot. It's called your phone burning up and dying. It is called your phone burning up and dying, but not everyone's going to be using a phone, and PCs don't run out of battery.
Your phones don't run out of battery when you plug them in as well.
Yeah.
I mean,
Emulators die though. Emulators crash.
It can do. It depends. Like I crashed once in all of the tests. I crashed once on BlueStacks, and that was in the final test.
Mm-hmm.
Granted, I couldn't get back in the game at all because I had black screen, but I crashed.
We were running BlueStacks, and you'd be crashing every couple of seconds, every couple of minutes, sort of thing. Sometimes it's not even playable.
If you do like 4 or 5 accounts, depending on your computer, you're gonna crash a lot.
I think you're just going to run into issues with dissatisfied customers. If you had a system that, like, if you were logged into the game and you had like a token, and that token was valid for like 5 minutes of activity, which means whether you're logged into the game or not. So if you get bumped and then you got 5 minutes for which your token is still active, that sort of thing allows you to avoid the, I got disconnected, rage, I can't log in because there's too many players in the game and I'm fucked.
If you speak to if anyone is coming from EVE Online, for example, like there'll be other games, because when I played Evany, I had 20 accounts. That I had 19 feeder accounts, my one main account. In most strategy games, if you could trade resources, I had lots of accounts to feed that one main account. And you'll have players coming, industrial players, because most people in EVE Online believe that if you don't have multiple accounts, you can't do industry. And unless you're in a corp,
you have to ask yourself, what is the model of success on the game? The model of success is to make a corporation and to have everyone work together for for the global success. Well, if you're capable of doing that yourself, that is a model for success. If you are able, like there are games that I used to play on mobile where having 2 accounts was pointless. It does not give you any benefit because you can't benefit one account to the other.
yes.
So there's no point having it. Like the only I think I remember was like using a second Facebook account to like the first one so that I would get a quick recharge of a life or something like that. But really, it's not like you're going to take 2 accounts and now double your output. EVE Online is. If you take 2 accounts and you run them both the same, you will double your output. If you have 10 accounts and they're all sitting in anoms, AFK ratting, you get 10 times what you would have done if you had only 1 account. That is an infinite model.
Yeah,
so long as you can survive the resource requirement to enable that.
So, Fish and Marco, you're saying that it dilutes the efficiency. If you're doing industry, it does nothing but benefit to have that many accounts. Granted, if you're trying to rat on 20 accounts at once, no, it's just something you can maybe do it if you're using an input broadcasting software, but like it's just something that industry is different. You just log in 5 accounts, you take all the PI from those 5 accounts, you set up all of your build queues on each account because you're going to have 10 in each, and you do all that stuff. It's going to be like playing Farmville on 20 accounts. It doesn't take much to input to get a shitload out of an industrial empire of your own.
You have to consider your mind, your attention, and your sanity as a resource as well. So it's not just computing power. It's not just what phones and what assets you've got. You have to look at your mind and your gameplay and your enjoyment.
Yes.
So running multiple ratting in one anomaly is not bad, but you have a fleet limit of 10. That's about as far as you could possibly go. But even then, running 10 accounts at once is just nuts. I would not go any further than 5. But when you are looking at mining, when you get into the belt and you just sit there and you click mine this rock, move at 1 ms in this direction to sweep up all of the rocks in that direction, so long as once it's set up, that's it. Mind your brain in your gaming experience does not have to do anything more for that guy unless someone comes in to try and kill him. So in that respect, you can apply multiple miners one after the other. Once you get everyone set up, then it's just a matter of controlling the output. In terms of other forms of industry, most of them are AFK. They're passive things. So your planetary resources, set it up, attend to it once a day, pick up the resources once a week.
You don't even have to move your PI alts anywhere. They can stay in station.
Yeah,
and you just fly to the planet with an alt account.
Which means that when you're running planetary interaction, it's just as a matter of how many accounts are you interested in maintaining on an ongoing basis. Same thing for reprocessing. Same thing. Well, reprocessing is a bit different. You only need one. You don't need any more than that ever. Same thing for production. Again, you probably could get away with one, and you could get away with one reverse engineer. But you could do one tune on each one. And you don't have to have them logged in at the same time. You just have to contract and move things from one character to another. It's a game set up that the optimal path is specialization and multiple accounts. Now, the quote golden way of doing it is to have every single person in the corporation do each different thing, and you pass them from one to another. But this is a game where you have suspicion, scamming, and theft. You are running yourself at a disadvantage if you have to trust everyone all the time. Plus, not everyone's logged in at the same time. You can't just say, yep, we have a dedicated refiner on the corp. Oh, he's not online at the moment. Oh, well, I guess you'll just have to wait. Well, what's that player going to do while he waits? It could be a day. It could be longer than that. He's not going to sit there on his aura waiting so he can do his production. He's just going to get it done.
Yeah, the terrific industry is too OP. Making ISK when you sleep is not normal in any damn game. Any activity who give you profit and you don't even need to be online is just stupid. Literally every crafting in every MMO I've ever played has been the same way. You just stick it on the market and go to sleep. But you still have to collect the resources, the materials, all that stuff. Unless you've already got the money and you start buying the resources in and then just building and then sending it out, then you're really an empire.
You're eating into your profits at that point, though.
Most mobile games prefer a system where you do your farming, you set it up, and in the morning when you log back in, you have a whole heap of resources to collect, because they want you to feel a sense of accomplishment. And a lot of the times they give you a higher acceleration of that input the more you're online. So if you collect your resources every 5 minutes, you're going to have a greater aggregate over a day than if you just collect it once a day. But a lot of mobile games work like that. And EVE Online is no different, but also EVE Echoes. But it's still going to be like a collection of time, and there's examples of that everywhere.
True. Right, let's get back on track with the ratting. Okay, let's get back on track with the ratting. Do you think
how do we want to go for it?
Huh?
How do we want to approach the subject after what we've done so far?
So let's talk about what they could add to ratting to make it more difficult, or if you don't need it more difficult.
Actually hard rats. Actual challenge.
The AI is very simple. You know exactly what you're going to do. All you have to do is have someone fly in with some tank and they'll just target him and that's it. Yasta. You're finished. Then you just fly in with DPS and melt the entire thing. When will you do the extraction to join your corp? The corp applications are open. Sovereign States is open for... the application form is up on the Discord. Tune up the rats.
I think that as soon as you get used to the rats, they become extremely easy. When we jumped into anomalies, even at we had maybe 3 months worth of progression, or was it 4 months when we were hitting the tier 10 sites? But as soon as we jumped into them, we cleared our first level 10 DED with the worst fleet composition. It was the worst. We just threw out and said, hey, we need a tank. It was, I think, a cyclone shield tank, and everyone else was armor tanked, and we had no logi. Everyone just warped off when they started to get hurt, and it was just stupid, and we succeeded. We didn't lose.
The thing is, our tank was pretty much our DPS, because we had our tank sitting on 0 on the thing, and we burned down, and we just killed all the high DPS stuff, all the faction rats, and the rest were easy to tank. The biggest threat were the faction rats.
Fish, just to...
I feel completely overwhelmed by the difficulty of the rats.
There's like, so Dead Space is the only time it's ever going to be difficult, and Fish, even Dead Space is shit because me and Nina could solo it by the end of the final test. We could solo Dead Space sites, so it's like everything to do with ratting, especially since there is no, like, unless you're going as a corp to farm specifically higher mark or weapons, or you're going and want to do Inquisitor sites and Scout sites quickly for your corp to bring items back, modules and shit back for the faction stuff, then yes, you can group up. But PvE is a single man's job, especially in EVE Echoes. They don't even have shared bounties. Yeah, excuse me.
Yeah, that's the biggest problem. No shared bounties.
I wanted PvE to be so hard at higher levels that you could not help but group up and have a fully fleshed out PvE fleet, such as you would have with a PvP fleet. You know, yeah, as you say, Sov, hitting above your weight belt. So if you're in destroyers and you're going after a class 6, you're not going to do that in a single destroyer unless you cheese it somehow, which I really wish they would.
I wish they had incursions.
I don't wish they had incursions themselves. I wish they had the effects of the ships and the difficulty to do them. Like, not. I just wish that the game wasn't so. You jump in, and it is scripted. It's exactly what you expect. You can write down what you need for that anomaly, and you will never get a surprise when you jump into that anomaly. Like, you go into a large 5, and oh my god, there's a faction rat there. Oh fuck, I'm in a pod. He just killed me.
See,
or an officer one, and suddenly he's in an Ortherus, and he's flying around at 2000 ms, and he scrams you, and you're not going anywhere. You have the choice to either, and he may not even do damage to you. He may just lock you down and hold you in the site and make you call for your friends to save you. You might be perfectly suited to ransoming the rest of the site, but this officer guy has fucking locked you down, and he's holding you to ransom. You know, that from a rat would be amazing. Right. And if you manage to survive the encounter and kill the guy, the rewards you get, awesome. That sort of thing. That is what I want to see.
Well, just to answer Fish, and you can't technically do a lot more anomalies. You can technically do a lot more anomalies in a group. In the test, there was no way for you to share ISK that you had gathered as a corp. So, for instance, the only time that I would do group PvE content with my corp is when we do the day we need to collect a lot of taxes. So we'll put the taxes to 100%. We'll spend an hour ratting as a group, collect all the taxes into the corp. Or if they're like, it's a day when there's not many people on, or everyone wants to come and join, 100% taxes will go into the corp, and then you can split how much you've made between players. But in the test, you couldn't even withdraw ISK, and you couldn't send ISK to other players from the corp until me and Nina bitched and moaned and had a massive argument with the developers and told them we need to access the corp wallet in more than just renting offices and creating alliances. We need to access the actual whole corp wallet. But before that, now you can do it, but you're still like, it's only whoever kills the rat gains the bounty. So like,
I think it's the one that does the most DPS.
The one that does the most DPS. Either way, I think it was the last hit.
It's definitely the last hit. Definitely the person who killed gets the bounty. Definitely.
Because we actually tested it to where we had someone go in there and like, we wanted to test the mechanic of having a new player join your corp and they need to get ISK quickly. You take them out in a bigger ship. You do most of the damage to the ship, leaving 1% of hull or whatever, and let the newer player take the last hit and get the bounty without us having to pay taxes. And that's doable. You can do that. So there is a way that you can help newer players in your corp, but they might change that because they might think that that's RMT.
Well, that's a very hand-holdy way to do it, and it's also very intensive. You know, that new person is likely. This is the thing: if it's a new player to the game itself, ship positioning is a very difficult concept for a lot of people. Telling someone where they need to be and why and how they need to be positioned in a 3D map on the grid is a bit of a challenging concept.
Double clicking in space is not very obvious.
Also, not very good.
It's not explained at all. New people are just gonna like approach orbit and do like commands that are like a little bit more obvious to them.
But that, you see, that's where I prefer that sort of thing. I prefer that someone approaches something or orbits something or has recognition of where everything is around them and uses those, just double clicking in space. Well, yeah, okay, it's going to work for a little bit, but if you're not attentive, you're going to be out of range very quickly.
If you need to go and get a shitload of data cores, you need to go get a shitload of wrecks, or you need to go to another part of space, go as your corp, go as a 10-man fleet and go get as many as possible.
Well, even just ratting a base level 6 to just cycle the anoms until you get, because a 10% drop, if you're going to clear 50 anoms in an hour, that's going to be 5 Scout Inquisitor sites, potentially 1 Dead Space site if you're 6 or above. You've got a very good capability of getting cores and such just by ratting in one system for an hour.
Yeah, but it's I don't know, you'd be able to take a lot more, like if you need to do it as a corp, I'm saying, to get like your corp cores and stuff that you have in your shared hangars for corp built SRP programs, for example. I just don't feel like anyone other than corp mates will ever group for PvE. You'll never have hug groups in EVE Echoes, which is a shame because it's supposed to be an MMO. You won't have pug groups in EVE Online because if you join a random person's group, you're just going to get blown up anyway. So it's just like... I was hoping that it was going to be a little bit more... Granted, I like the fact that I can get blown up by anyone, even my best friend, but I was hoping EVE Echoes would be a little bit more accepting for the group mentality and group play than EVE Online was, but it's going to be the same. Fleet invite spam before PvP is absolutely ridiculous, and they'll get rid of that. Don't worry about it. Missiles got advantage in ratting. Missiles missiles have an advantage, but not as much as it used to. You don't need the missiles had the advantage in the early game. Now there isn't an early game. It's not such a big deal. You can still be able to do. So here's the thing, you'll be able to do long, harder sights from long range. It will take you longer and you'll end up earning less ISK anyway. So like if you, say for instance, if you're farming medium 5s and you can do 4 medium 5s in the 20 minutes, you're going to earn more ISK doing 4 or 5 medium 5s than if you're doing a large 7, for example. Like that large 7 in one tick. Whew.
You want to also make sure you know when you're doing these larger 7s and 5s and such, because you don't want to be doing a 7 in the first week. Even if you're capable of getting a fleet of 6 together to do a large 7, you're not going to be able to use any of the modules.
We don't know about...
Make sure you target the appropriate sizes.
Yeah, definitely. And we don't know about drones yet because we only know that they have a 20% increase across the board for damage. And there's going to be 10 small drones in a BP in the blueprint to be built, 5 mediums and 3 larges per blueprint. So that's drones are safe but slow as hit. There is a lot of drones, and because it's the only weapon with ammo, because technically it is ammo because you can kill them, lose them, and you have to refill them. Technically, it is ammo. It gives it a massive downside compared to every other. But now with the BPs that way, it's better.
You can't lose them by leaving them behind. You can only lose them by a player killing your drones. That's the only way to lose them because the rats won't kill them at present.
The rats won't kill them, no. But like you can just get like there was a guy in the final test. It was complaining in the Discord that someone kept flying in on a frigate and just killing his drones. Just flying in to just kill his drones and then flying out.
Or was this actually a place where you wouldn't get a 6 status? Because I believe you should be at the whim of Concord if you kill someone else's drones. It's my opinion.
Yeah. You should be because you're killing property at the end of the day. But yeah, Fish, take it easy. I'll see you tomorrow during the talking in stations. That's a good change. It is a good change, much better change. I mean, we struggled in an entire week to fit like 5 players with medium 7s, if that. Yes, we did struggle a lot to get medium 7s, and even more so to get... I think we fit 1 person with large drones, and that was 1 large drone because that's all that could be fit in the ship. I think Nina
that's
managed to fully fit the Balgorn. So go on.
That's just a case of we only had a week. We were trying to fit our first trainer cruiser with medium weapons on day one, and we just didn't have anyone who had gone through and did any level of ratting to that. People are going to jump into destroyers and do level 5, level 6s to get the Tech 5 stuff. They're going to do that so that they can sell a large volume when the ships become apparent. They're going to do that for profit's sake, if nothing else. That's going to enable people to put their stuff on the market, but they're only going to do that sort of thing if they have the time to set that sort of stuff up. They're not, it's going to happen for the other tiers as well. You're going to have like tier 9 stuff. When people get to tier 9, people are going to have farmed that stuff for weeks, and they're going to drop a bunch of it on the market when they're ready, and people are going to buy it because suddenly the demand is going to appear. But that sort of thing couldn't happen in a short test, so obviously we weren't going to see that level of gameplay. There's going to be thousands of different professions that are going to manifest themselves in different ways that are going to affect the economy and enable all players to access things in ways that they didn't anticipate, like traders moving stuff around and offering bulk objects for people to fit fleets for wars. That sort of thing is going to be apparent. At the moment, we can't see it because we think we have to farm everything. But what if someone were to, for a price, supply everything you needed to fight this alliance to that alliance? Next thing you know, fighting that alliance is now seeming a bit more feasible. And that's just because someone decided to go on the market and buy all of the modules they could get for a certain type and then sell them to an alliance for a profit. But realistically, supply and demand gives the opportunity for the gameplay itself, regardless of price.
True. Big true.
And that only comes with a very established economy. It takes a long time for that sort of stuff to come to fruition and to understand how all of these gameplay aspects are going to interact. Also, we're going to get this sort of ideas and things come out of the woodwork at the same time as a big rebalance. 3 months in, 2 months in, whatever it is. Yeah.
Ceased makes a good point. By any chance, large corporations will have no problem with the amount of rats around the main base, especially without sharing the loot? What do you think about that?
No, I think we're still going to have a lot of problems. It's about the rarity of loot. Depends on what you're looking for. If you want to fit resistance to your ship, you need to go and find the anomalies that are going to drop the particular types of loot that you need. We went through many, many anomalies and we did not get... So we had thousands of weapon types. We had heaps of armor extenders or shield extenders, but we had no reactive or adaptive armor hardeners or shield hardeners, so we just could not fit the ships how we wanted them. That's going, and rightly so in some ways.
Especially the adaptives.
Having modules that are rarer simply changes the value. If you have modules that are so commonplace that people are literally reprocessing them for minerals, then they're going to be practically worthless on the market because people are going to have them saturated. Everyone's going to have them. No one's going to need them. If you have modules that are highly sought after, then they're going to be,
highly valued.
Yeah, and people are going to literally farm specifically for those modules. They're going to farm and farm and farm until they can get those modules so they can get that and fill up their pocketbook with it.
Yes. I found the shield, the adaptive shields were a lot harder to find than any other module. Any other module. So like I had faction reactive and adaptive armor, lots of them. Nina had quite a few of them as well. The shield ones though, but we must have just got lucky. I think we must have just got lucky with what we got in the ships when they dropped, because it's all RNG. Because we all know, as we know, the ships drop, the NPC ships drop like PvP ships. It's not like in EVE Online where it's a set different thing depending on the rats. You actually pick up what the ship drops, what it's fitted with in Echoes, which is a bit weird.
But you've also got faction ships are better fit than the standard ships, especially when you're talking about low-level anomalies versus high-level anomalies. So you take your scout sites, your inquisitor sites, they're going to have better loot than the small, medium, and larges,
Yeah.
and you can take it a step further when you go into dead space. The dead space, you're going to find a lot better loot in the percentages of how often you're going to get better loot than you're going to find in your basic small, mediums, and larges. So you can farm those small, mediums, and larges all day, but you probably find barely anything. When you jump into your DED sites and your faction sites, you're going to find a quick and quite profitable. So if you can farm them consistently, then you're going to get the good loot that you're actually looking for.
Yes, 100%. And Voxel, warp scramblers were just broken. They weren't on everyone's loot table. They weren't fitted to everyone's ships, only to the Garistas, I believe. No, Serpentis. It was only the Serpentis that they were tied to. So only the Serpentis rats had disruptors, and only certain ships in the faction line had the disruptors. So they were rare as rocking horse shit. Like, it was so
We only
rare.
got one of them. We only got one of them from being a DD6.
I think you'll find actually were the only ones who got shafted in Amarian who didn't have them, but they were rare in every faction.
See, they had Dagon managed to buy a disruptor for 50 million off the market because someone probably forgot to put someone forgot to put an extra couple of zeros. So he managed to buy out a 50 million ISK disruptor and gave it to the hell spawn known as Nina. Like, webs were also quite difficult to find, but not as difficult.
I bought a faction web for 1.3 bill because I needed one.
I bought mine for 1 bill. Like, I bought a faction web for 1 billion. A web for 1 billion ISK, man. Jesus Christ.
But this is the thing. They intentionally made them difficult to get, and they wanted to see what the effect would be on PvP. And they said, when we asked why is it so hard to get them, they turned around and said, well, we're not sure if you need them. And so we turned around and said, okay, well, what kind of gameplay are you looking for? Because you've introduced all of these ships with like automatic warp off, and we can't hold them down. I think maybe a third of the ships in the game natively have at least one warp stab +1. Like half of the indie ships, all your ventures, all your retrievers, all of your indie hauling ships, a lot of them have +1 warp core stab. You have rigs that you could put one rig slot, and quite frankly, the rig slot is not used up. The astronautics rigs are going into your the engineering rig slot. Yeah. That is not used for a lot of gameplay. Your PvP, you're going to use your CCCs and your semiconductors and stuff, but realistically,
you don't need it on other ships.
You're going to be able to put one of those rigs on most of your ships, and now you've got warp core stabs depending on what level you go.
You know what?
Removing the ability to hold that down or to curve that gameplay is just stupid.
I'm also to buy all more the ships.
Yeah. I also found out, I found that I could have a high level spec'd out ship for PvP that would smash the living shit out of PvE as well.
Yes, the skills are practically anonymous. There's no good reason not to do it. But the question is, if you were to, you see, this goes back to EVE Online as well. You can do that. But if you just... The cat's head on my keyboard, I think. Or maybe that was Neptune. If you spec your ship for PvE in EVE Echoes, specifically aiming for the resists that you need, how much more effective is it at ratting than if you had spec for PvP? And really the only way we can do this is resistances and resist holes for rig assignment, because you don't have specific, well, you got the reactive, but you don't really have specific resist assignments in your low slots.
Yeah, and you don't really even if the rig slots to fill the holes will be the same for if you were doing PvE anyway, PvP anyway, doing the PvE. So it's
not really, because if you are shield tanked and you're in angel space, angels are going to be doing kinetic explosive, and you already have you already have a high kinetic explosive. Now, if you throw kinetic explosive rigs, you have a massive EM hole and thermal hole,
Yeah.
but you are very, very well suited to fighting the rats in Angel Space. Although if any of them do missiles, you're fucked. So basically, you're capable of really kicking ass. And the same thing is said for Blood Raiders. They do thermal EM. You assign yourself an armor rig tanked with thermal EM as your rigs that compile against what you've already got with the armor base. You have a much stronger ship that you can just throw at an anomaly and you'll be fine.
Yeah. No, Beshi, rigs don't drop. Rigs get destroyed whether you destroy the ship or just change them. They're always destroyed. It's always limited. Rigs are always limited. You can't save them. Granted, I really did think that Eve Echoes would have a thing like the insurance voucher, which would allow you to pay Plex to get rid of the rigs off. I thought that would be a thing, but that didn't happen.
Jesus, no.
And be quiet with your suggestions here. I think that these sorts of fits will come out of the woodwork. We will find a disparity between PvE and PvP in terms of ships, fittings. You will get the min-max gameplay, the optimization, when people say, hey, I can do the fitting in this way, and now I can go and shoot a tier higher than what I previously could and make this much more per hour. When you get that level of comparison, people will catch on. When you get fits that's shared between players and corporations and such, when they discover that you can get an advantage by making this change versus that change, people will do it, and they'll try it, and they'll just slowly evolve.
Yeah, Solitaire, it's best to hunt in those spaces with damage type opposite to the PvE then, yes. But in Echoes, I found that it didn't matter what space I was in. In my Harbinger, I had no issue in the entirety of the game. I went everywhere, up to level 10s. I also did dead spaces in 3 of the different kinds of dead spaces, and I believe there is only 4 of them. In the test, there was only 4 dead space types, right? And that was just
that goes back to me saying I want ANOMS to be harder. I want ratting to be harder. I want it so that if people jump in at low skill points and badly fitted ships, inappropriately fitted ships, I want them dead. I want those rats to be king of the hill until we can eventually figure out a way to slowly beat them back.
Here's the thing. You said that the warp disruptors are going to be more prevalent, right?
Yes.
And that means they'll be fit to the NPCs, so they will be using them. So new players are going to try and do this, and are going to get tackled in the site.
Yeah.
And if they don't know what they're doing, they're going to die.
Yeah, but that's the same. That's for any reason. You're gonna lose it if you don't know what you're doing. But the difference is that, can you imagine going into a level 5 mission in EVE Online, even just the missions, without filling the hole or choosing the ammo needed to damage the NPCs, the rats?
It's gonna be horrible, yeah.
You just can't do it. You'll lose every ship. You could go in there with a Marauder, for fuck's sake, and lose it if you don't fit it to tank what you're fighting against. You have to actually change it up. So when you're doing the missions and you get a mission for, say, Serpentis, and you have to go do the mission for Serpentis, you have a specific resistance profile you have to fit for. And then the next mission could be Garistas, so you have to then swap your modules out to fit specifically for that next one. Like it is, and that's not in Echoes. I can do the entire game with just filling the hole, like PvP. I'll just can fly a PvP ship around and do that. But that's end game. We're talking like 10 months down the line when you've got all expert skills and blah, blah, blah. Which, granted, end game is supposed to be like that, I guess.
Well, I was going to say, why do you think that half of the people's bios have a rat table of the resist profiles?
Yeah, but to help everyone.
It's so prevalent that they have to remind themselves, okay, I'm going into this area, I'm doing this thing, cool. What do I need to change my shit and change my fit to accommodate this challenge? Yeah. And the thing is, nullsec should be, and in terms of week 1, nullsec should be an unsurmountable gameplay that we could not even hope to overcome in week 1. In the end, it's going to be piss easy, in my opinion.
Yes.
But, It should be you go to nullsec, you try and do one thing, you get blown up, you think, oh, okay. I mean, what other game in MMO can you see that you can possibly go in an early game fashion and then go to the top level area and actually make even the slightest bit of headway, where some guy doesn't just come out of the woods and chop your head off because he's 50 or 100 levels above you?
Yeah.
That's just standard for all things. Why is it that we're going to be able to go to nullsec and we're going to be able to make a life for ourselves at level 1? I don't get it.
Yeah, it's also like Solitaire said with the auto target back and the auto attack back always picks the largest first. Like I don't know if it's because you lock it faster, maybe, I don't know, but it's like if you don't get those 10 destroyers, and if you don't kill them quickly before they get into under the range of your weapons in a larger ship, if you don't kill them before they get to within their optimal range, the destroyers, the 10 destroyers are the ones that are going to be doing the massive amounts of damage when they get in range. They're going to blow most people up.
And the frigates orbiting you at 1,000.
And you can't hit them.
Scramming, webbing, disrupting, all of that.
Especially since all rats are going to have it now. It will be in there now that they're going to be adding the scrams and disruptors and the webs to other ships. And like, it's kind of annoying that newts weren't like, if you're getting neuted by 4 rats, you should be fucked.
Yes.
And you weren't.
And you shouldn't just be able to nos them back and be fine.
Yeah. But like...
Or at the very least, you should have to take into consideration that you must fit a cat battery or 2 in order to survive.
To survive against those certain rats, like it's the Sancha that does the nos and the Blood Raiders that do the newts, right?
Actually, E-War itself is considered a game-wide aspect, and all of them do it.
Oh shit!
Because the only method of E-War is neuting.
Because as you make a good point that if you're looking at it as a new player perspective, yes, I don't know. Like if you've played MMOs, granted the you needing different defense profiles depending on a thing is really old school in its mentality. Like you're looking at old school WoW Classic when you had to fit fire resist gear to fight in the first ever raid and that sort of thing. That doesn't happen in a lot of MMOs anymore. It's very much you get the end game gear, you become the strongest. That's pretty much what it is now these days. That's going to shock a lot of people here. I feel that it will be.
You have high sec for low level gameplay. You have low sec for medium level gameplay, and you have null sec for high level gameplay. You have warnings when you go from high to low saying, hey, this is dangerous. The things here will kill you. It is high level. They can even tailor an alert to say what tech level you are versus what the gameplay is around that you're trying to access and say, hey man, this is not a good idea. Are you sure you know what you're doing? And the trouble is people don't read signs. They don't look at pop-ups.
No, and they close it the first time and you never see it again. But they're giving you the keys to nullsec in day 4, man. They're giving you the keys for it.
We know that they are, but we also want it to be harder. So we're hoping that the balance is going to make it harder. At least for the newer players later down the line, it's going to be harder. But everything towards EVE is geared to what the average player can do. And the average player is going to be able to do more the longer the universe exists, which means that the generalistic game is going to have early game for a while, and then it's going to get late game. You're going to be able to, as a new player, get medium guns from the market because the players are selling them en masse very easily.
Here's the issue with what we have with the ratting at the moment. This is like the final talk because we need to start cutting. We're almost at the 2-hour mark. So when it comes to the way that they're having the game right now, they're making it easier for newer players. Yes. Everything is being made easier for the new players to be able to get into the game and do it. But then you have the people who know what they're doing and they're going to be fucking light years ahead of everyone else because of the ease of use. So these new players are still going to get fucked in PvP unless they live in high sec forever. We are going to be light years ahead of the curve. The people who know what they're doing, the people who've played EVE Online before, the people who've been in the test before are going to be light years ahead of everyone. There's going to be a lot of crying, and there's going to be a lot of people, literally the amount of new people that are going to complain that they're getting killed so easily. It's just going to make it easier. Games don't get made harder. They never get made harder. Games only get made easier because the majority of people will die. So
that's where the community comes in, right? That's where the community comes in and helps people. You look for groups, and you get knowledge, and you get better at the game.
Yeah, but how many games now don't just make games easier? They even look when they brought back WoW Classic. They even made the raids easier for the relaunch of WoW Classic. It's just the way games are being made now. Games are being made to be easy.
Advanced players are always going to have a leg up. There's always going to be someone more powerful than you. There's always going to be someone with more money than you. That's just a part of widespread, large-scale gameplay. But as Nina says, the easier they make it for new players and the more accessible they make it for new players, the easier it's going to be for the advanced players and the people who know what they're doing. The only way to fix that sort of thing is to make a bell curve that increases the difficulty further out, but also doesn't throw an infinite benefit that can be resulted in HiSec. So if you go out and you go to nullsec and you make 10 times the value of what you can get in HiSec, and then you can turn around and express that 10 times value in HiSec, then you are a god, because you can access the high-level gameplay and you can bring it to the low-level gameplay. If it's locked to the high-level gameplay, so if you go out to nullsec and you can only utilize the benefits you get in nullsec, then it introduces a tiered system where you have to graduate from one set to another, and you can't take it back.
Yeah.
Now, obviously, this is now no longer an open market. You are now no longer in a single shard system. You're now segmenting it rather heavily. But this is the way to bridge the gap to allow low-level players to be in low-level areas and high-level players to have their advantage, but not implement that on the low level. It's not generally how EVE is played, though. So.
Take it easy, Marco. Thank you for coming. I just want to thank YIOTA for the follow. Thank you very much. I don't know. I don't know how it's going to go. I'm hoping it's going to go okay, and I hope people will stay long enough, at least for the 3 months, to realize the end game of sovereignty warfare. If they make it that far. I hope they make it that far.
So, yeah, it's going to be really interesting to see high-level wars with many people in Echoes. I want to see a grid with like 200 people on it and see how that works out.
I just hope they don't listen to... We're going to... Yeah. The SP game by time levels it out a bit compared to getting XP for grinding. Gonna be relying on a lot on our corpse. Good stuff, guys. Yeah, it's true. You're gonna be relying on a lot on the corpse and doing a lot of stuff, but CTA with 40 people in a park playing on a phone. guys, 20 minutes, we're gonna go do a fight. CTA, meet at the swings. Let's go. No sitting there like...
To me, it's going to be like the CTA, wake up at 4 a.m., just like turn it over on your pillow, start up your echoes, right? I'm off. you plug in your earphones. Yeah.
Just, oh God. And then your missus elbows you, turn the fucking phone off, the light's not letting me sleep. I'm like, oh, get up to the chair.
Sleepwalking.
Can you imagine FCing from bed and falling asleep mid-op?
That's the thing. If you have like a structure bash and you've got a bunch of your people in the off time zone, then falling asleep is going to be bad.
People will start to quit after 2 to 3 weeks. Yeah, go on. Sorry.
Although in saying that, sorry, just to butt in, your ship doesn't turn off its guns. There's no ammo, so you don't actually have to do anything. Once you've got there and you're structure bashing, you just hit go, and as long as you don't warp off or get jammed or anything, you're fine.
Start bashing, go offline.
Structure bash, the FC. Sov, wake up. Soft, no,
Devs,
seriously,
wake up.
get up. Sam, are you there? It's just everyone's just going to be asleep because it's like fucking. Because like even if you're in an intense situation, you're so relaxed looking at your phone. You're in a comfortable seat, in a comfortable position, just on the sofa, feet up on the table, and it's just so simple. I've dropped the phone on my face 100 times playing 100 different games. It's just gonna happen.
Same.
It doesn't matter what you're doing.
This one is drop on your face with consequences.
Yeah. This drops on your face and you lose 4 billion of shit because you've got a faction disruptor in it. And then you go, devs, I can't believe what the fuck. And then the devs put in a machine that if you don't put an input on your phone in 15 minutes, they make you invulnerable or some shit. Like,
No. Just make a little shot.
Imagine thinking you sleep, Nina, like you don't sleep. Mod insurance ticket. No. Get out of chat with that shit. Drop your phone in your face. Start shooting your DC by accident. FC. Can you imagine, like, just out in high sec, doing your thing, hauling some stuff from one high sec station to another, dropping your phone on your face, your nose hitting the button that auto targets the Concord, and Concord fucks you. It could happen. Your phone could hit your nose multiple times and you could accidentally lock and target and fire on Concord. And you lose
Imagine
everything.
accidentally pausing the autopilot.
You're just sitting there in the middle of space.
You're just
like...
sitting there, yeah, exactly.
That would be fucked up. Priorities. Do you use your phone playing Eve with 20% battery left or wait for an important call? Oh God, calls. I'm turning my phone off. Calls are getting turned off. I think I can turn just calls off. I don't know if that's an option.
Yes, just do not disturb. It's a basic function on most phones.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm kind of hardcore. I play Eve until I lose battery.
I will probably, if I say for instance I'm having to carry the baby and the baby's in my arms like this, I always have my hand out for the phone, or I can have my hand like playing the phone, the baby resting between my arms. It's very bad. Like, this is not good parenting. If you're thinking about becoming a parent, do not do what I do. So the baby's sitting there and I'll be playing the game. I used to rap doing this, and I'll do missions and the baby will be asleep, happily snoring away, and I'll be playing the game. Like, it works. But if battery gets close to being over, I will switch the game off and put it on charge.
Getting phone calls, though, in the middle of Eve is the worst thing, just because it takes over your entire phone and you end up, 9 times out of 10, you get kicked out of the game.
I got a few calls that came through as a notification rather than interrupting the game. Yeah, I had that, but I don't know if Nina, you might remember, Dega might remember as well, when I first tried to mirrorcast my phone for a game and my girlfriend's phone number came up calling me, and her actual number came up on the screen while I was recording, so the entire stream saw my girlfriend's real phone number. Like, that was an issue. That could be something that there's an issue later on as well when people are recording gameplay or streaming straight from the phone. I think, Deki, you must have seen it. You've always been there since I've been streaming, man.
That's something that people have dealt with for a long time, though. You know, people mobile streaming deal with that a lot.
It's going to be pretty bad unless there's an option. Right, we should actually cut it short here. Yeah, Sandbridge is already in there with the join try mark. Let's get in there. If you want to say goodbye, everyone, Sam, you want to go first with your goodbye spiel?
Bye! Leader of Trimark, happy to take on any players. We're going out to Nullsec, and we really want to see what we can make out of this game.
And Skippy has his goodbye, and we're not gonna tell everyone that he's just gonna be camping your gates solo because he's a good guy.
Not going to be camping your gates. I will see you guys in space.
Cool. And say goodbye, Neptune. Thank you for coming.
You're welcome. Thank you, man, for accepting me. I'm also from
worries.
Trimark. See you all in the space.
And from me, Sovereign States has reopened its application, so if you do want to join the Corp is open for you to do it in the Discord. You have to be part of the Discord to be part of the Corp. That's going to be the same for Trimark as well, most likely. So if you guys would like to join there, please join my Discord. It's in the links down below. I want to thank you all for coming. We will try to get hopefully the gentleman that's going to be joining us next week for talking over the skill planner will be available. Will he be available?
He's booked.
But we had him booked the past 2 weeks, and the geezer just said, "Oh, sorry, I got to go to karate and karate chop someone's throat."
No, we knew a little while back that he wasn't going to be able to make it this weekend.
Okay.
You were the only one who didn't know.
Well, thanks. Like, just literally the only person that he just doesn't love me. Well, anyway, thank you guys for coming. Next week we'll definitely try to do the skill planner stuff, because that's really important. We get that going before the game actually starts. We only have a few weeks left. 3, 2.5.
8 a.m. UTC, 13th of August.
8 a.m. UTC, 13th of August, before launch, or the 13th. We'll do it before launch. When will you choose the player that will enter the corp? It's already, when the new applications will be done in the next couple of days. So it'll be done probably by tomorrow or Monday. If you've applied, you're in, and you'll see it pop up. You won't get an email. You'll get just check the Discord and look for Corp General. If you have that, you're in the Corp. If not, they'll send you an email, the people that are in there. Thank you, Follow Solitaire, for the follow. I want everyone to fly safe, avoid local chat scams. Take it easy.